Right, I'm going to start because it's after the hour. And when people come in, they just do that silently. It's all set, so we won't have horrible dinging annoying us. And I don't have to jump up and let them in manually. So for those of you who are here, welcome. Thank you so much once again for joining me. And I think you guys who are here already know all the stuff about have your screen. So you just have speaker view, so you can see me as a big window and everything else just little up the top or wherever you've got it. And just remembering that, as I just mentioned, the session today is being recorded. So just please do keep yourself on mute unless you're having a problem with a shape. So I always say, just put your camera on or put something in the chat so I'm aware that I need to look at your screen so that I can see what's going on for you. But welcome, and let's get straight into it. So we're going to take a moment to initially just come into the space. And before I say anything else, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which I'm practicing today. I'd like to acknowledge the Wadawurrung peoples, their elders past, present and emerging, and also their continuing connection with lands, skies and waters. And I'd also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to my own elders, to my own ancestors, and thank them for bringing me here to be with you guys today. And if it's meaningful to you to silently make those same acknowledgements, then please do that. So just also a couple of other housekeeping things, just making sure you've got some props available to yourself. So if you don't have the fancy yoga ones like I've got here, then just cushions or pillows. I love using my couch cushions because they seem to be a really good height. And sometimes books can be helpful instead of the blocks, because if you've got a nice fat book, it's a similar height. And also, very importantly, I'm not playing music because I am recording the session. That's problematic with copyright. So I would really encourage you to have some beautiful music going for yourself, because as you all know, with Yin, there is a lot of moments of silence, and it's nice to have that filled in sometimes, but you might just want to listen to the sounds around you, the sounds of the day waking up for those of us in the Southern Hemisphere, and whatever other beautiful noises you have going on in the Northern Hemisphere. So for now, if you could please just bring yourself into a comfortable, probably seated shape. If you really want to lie down, then that's absolutely fine as well. But we'll just come into this practice by being in the space and being still for a moment. So just closing your eyes down and taking a few deep breaths all the way into the belly, just to bring yourself into your body and bring yourself into this yin space, both energetically and physically. So for today's practice, I'm really focusing on the earth element again. So for those people who were with me last weekend for the new moon, new year practice, we really acknowledge that we're in that Capricorn season, time of year where the earth element is so strong. We're feeling really drawn to making progress, to being practical, but also drawn to the connection with the earth. And we're going to really focus on the lower body to access the earth element in terms of our first chakra, the root chakra, it's often called, which is quite a nice name when we think about the roots of trees in the earth. So perhaps taking a moment to feel the root of yourself connected to the earth, even if you're not directly connected to the earth, which probably most of us aren't, but the earth is there underneath us somewhere. So sending some more deep breaths even below the belly, right to the bottom of your spine, to the area of the perineum. And seeing if you can feel into that energetic space. So we'll always talk about the chakras in terms of a physical location, but they're not physical any more than anything else is. Everything is energy. And that energy of your first chakra reaches forwards, backwards, to the sides of your body as well. But it is connected with that lowest part of your torso. So just sending the breath all the way down there. And then even as you exhale, perhaps trying to feel into an energetic connection with the earth. So you breathe in and send the breath, the energy of the world, the universe, into that part of you. And you breathe out and you sense that part of you extending out and down into the earth. And let's just do that breath a couple more times. Breathing in all the way through the belly down to the bottom of your spine, and completely and fully letting the breath out. And as you're doing that, seeing that energy connecting you to the earth. And one more time. And releasing, acknowledging that connection. So for our first shape today, it's actually going to be this shape that I'm in. So it's called saddle. And we can imagine that we're sitting on a saddle. So it's as if you've got a saddle on the floor. Now, I have not actually taught this shape before because I don't like it. But we are going to be here looking to feel a stretch in the fronts of our thighs, so the quads, and also into the inner thighs, so into our adductors. So I will just go onto the side view so you can see, if you want to take a moment to have a look, how I set myself up for this is actually have my pelvis really raised up. And the idea with saddle is that we then lean backwards. And for me, I'm going to have a second block behind my head. Some people can do this without any propping underneath. However, this is our first shape of the day and we're not warm at all. So the other option is to just do one side at a time. So that will look like you've got one leg out in front of you and the other leg is in this saddle shape. And then leaning back. So again, I would need a lot of propping behind me. It's up to you. You can choose to either do the one side or both together. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through. So if you're doing one side, then you can swap to do the other side. The other adjustments that you can make are things like actually adjusting the shape of your foot. So the flexion in your ankle, how flexed your foot is going to change how that stretch feels for you in the quad. And just really altering the height of your propping. So if anybody's got any problems with taking that shape and with feeling the stretch in the thigh, so obviously if you're doing the one side, you're going to be feeling the stretch in the bent leg side, and you'll probably feel some other stretching perhaps along the front of a straight leg if you are doing the one side. Please put the camera on or put something in the chat. It can just be one letter so I know to give you some attention. But otherwise, just slowly try to send your breathing into the leg this time. So rather than the bottom of your spine, sending the breath into that area where you're feeling the stretch. And this is where it's really great to have some beautiful music playing for yourself, to fill in the space, to fill in the silence. Yes, so someone has asked, is it normal to feel some stretch in the lower back? Yes, it is. If it's too much, then I definitely say prop yourself up a bit more. So like I had my big bolster all the way behind me. So if you have chosen to do the one side, then just a few more breaths on that side and then swapping your legs over. And just remembering at any point during the hold in a yin shape, you should feel free to adjust, perhaps increasing the support that you're receiving from your props, or even lessening it off as you notice the fascia releasing. You might alter the shape of your ankle, the angle of your thighs. So just taking a few more breaths in this shape. And then easing yourself perhaps onto a side so you can extract your legs one side at a time if you've done both, and having your legs stretched out in front of you, and just having a lie down as a rest before our next shape. You can choose to lie on your side or on your back. And noticing how those thighs feel. Noticing the energy rushing into those areas that we've just stretched. And we're just about to reach a point in the year where we really have that extra connection with the earth in the southern hemisphere. It's a point in the wheel of the year called Lunazar, which in the Celtic tradition was the celebration of when everything was ripe. So we're really celebrating the earth and grateful to the earth for the bounty that she gives us. And in the northern hemisphere, it's Imbolc, which is a celebration of the earth reawakening after winter. While our bodies are stretched out on the earth right now, it'd be nice to think about that. And then just gradually perhaps taking yourself onto one side so you can come back up into a seat. And our second shape we're going to do today is butterfly. So with butterfly, I kind of feel like it's the opposite. It's the opposite with our legs. So our legs, instead of being bent behind us outwards, are bending in front of us inwards, and we're making the shape of the butterfly wings with our legs. We are going to feel this stretch again into the inner thighs and also into our hamstrings. So again, this one is kind of the opposite of what we just did with saddle, in that we're going to take the weight of our body forward. You may find that for you, your butterfly is much less exaggerated, so you can take your feet forwards as much as you like. It's really just to a point where you are feeling the stretch at the back of the thighs and the inside of the thighs again. And then as far as leaning forward, again, it can be really nice to have some something to prop yourself, to support yourself, so that you can hold this shape in a forward folded position. So again, please just let me know in the chat or by turning your camera on if you need any help with feeling this stretch, and remembering it will look very different for different people. So yours may look very different to me. It's completely correct for you as long as you are feeling the stretch. Remembering to adjust at any point. For me, in this shape, I certainly find I can reduce the amount of support under my torso. As the stretch affects the fascia and it releases. Just taking a few more breaths in this shape. And then just once again taking yourself into a comfortable lying down position to acknowledge the stretch and pay attention to the energy flowing into those inner thighs and the backs of the thighs. I find it's nice to give the legs a little bit of a shake or a wriggle. This earth energy, the first chakra, is really associated with feeling safe, with feeling secure, with feeling grounded. And it's really important during the class that we feel that as well, that we don't feel like we're pushing ourselves to be in a shape that is so uncomfortable that that's all we can think about. So once again, just gently bringing yourself up into a seated position. We'll go into our third shape, which is shoelace. And in this shape, we imagine our legs as shoelaces. So if you have a look, I'm doing a variation of this shape. So at the moment, my legs are quite close into my body. So adjustments you can make with this is not having the knees so closely stacked over each other. So you might, you can even take it all the way to just having the legs sort of crossed and the feet out. That's an untied shoelace. We want to feel this stretch into, once again, the backs of the thighs and all the way down the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, but also into your glutes. So bringing, I would suggest your left leg over the top of your right. If you've already done the other one, don't worry. Just remember which one you've done because we need to do both sides. And then once again with this, we're taking the weight of the body forward. Now, for some people, they don't need to take the weight of the body forward at all to really feel the stretch into the glutes. You're going to feel it on both sides, especially the one of the top leg. And what you can do is you might feel that for you, taking the weight of the body not directly over the tops of the knees, but to one side. So for me, I probably really feel the stretch the most if I take the weight of the body over to the right side when I'm stretching, when I've got my left leg on top, then I really feel the stretch into that left glute. Once again, please let me know if you're having any problems with that stretch. And in regards to that, please do actually drop something in the chat because I can't actually see everyone at the top of my screen with speaker view on. once again, with this shape, adjusting the angle of your ankles can make a difference to how you feel the stretch. So you might want to play around with that. For me, if I flex my left ankle when that's on top, the leg on top, then I'm going to feel the stretch even more. So it's a good way to make a minor adjustment. And of course, I should have said you can absolutely prop yourself with your leaning forward. You don't have to just lean onto your hands. We're just taking a few more breaths in this shape. And then untying your shoelaces, stretching the legs out in front of you, and once again, taking a lie down rest. You don't have to if you just want to sit up with the legs out in front. Once again, give them a bit of a shake. Then that's a good option as well. Noticing the sensation of the energy moving into that glute that you stretched. Does it feel different to the side that we haven't stretched yet? Mine certainly does. And then, of course, we need to even ourselves out. So putting the opposite leg on top, if you did do what I suggested, then this time you'll be having the right leg on top. And again, remembering that your shoelace might look very different to mine. You may have your knees more separated. You may have your feet at quite a different angle. And once again, how you lean forward may be quite different to me as well. You might not lean forward at all. You might really feel that stretch into the glutes without leaning forward. You've got a problem with feeling that stretch or with the shape, just put something in the chat. And remember that you might want to prop yourself as you lean forward. It might help to consciously send your breath, the energy of your breath, into the area that we're stretching. It's quite a big stretch first thing in the morning for those of us who are in the morning. Remembering to adjust in any way that you need to through the hold. You might find that you can lean further forward, or you want to change where exactly your torso is leaning to get more or less of a stretch. You might find that you're just too uncomfortable and you need to ease off and sit up more. Taking your last few breaths in this shape. And then I definitely invite you this time to take a rest lying down on your back, because that's where we're going to start our next shape from. So gradually untying your shoelace legs and stretching them out in front of you and lying down on your back. Once once again, it can be nice to just give the legs a little bit of a shake as you notice the energy flowing into that area that we've stretched. And hopefully you've got a sense of being a bit more balanced and even than when we'd only done one side. So the areas of the physical body that are associated with the first chakra are our lower limbs, our lower digestive system, and very importantly, our immune system lives with this energetically. So it's a great area for us to be accessing through the stretches. So our next shape is Bananasana. And I would invite you to, unless you've done this before, and even if you have done it before with me, I'd invite you to just definitely have a look at your screen, because I know the last time I taught this, a couple of people did not understand the shape. So we are lying on our back, and then I'd invite you to just shuffle your hips to the left, and then you're moving your feet to the right side of your mat. So you've got a curve in the body. So you're not lying on your side, you're continuing to be lying on your back. Then taking your arms over the top of your head, and they are making the top of the banana. So if someone was looking down on you from the ceiling, they would be looking at the front of your body, but it's in a beautiful banana shape. You may want to cross your top leg over, so the left leg over the top of the right leg, and you may want to hold your left arm with your right hand to increase the stretch. So with this, we are stretching all the way along the side of the body. So once again, if anyone has any problems with what I'm describing, then please let me know in the chat. So the spine, the skeleton, is another area of the body that's associated with this first chakra, this earth energy. And we're getting a beautiful stretch all the way along the spine by doing this Bananasana shape. Remembering that if you need to adjust your shape at any point during the hold, you should do that. If you're starting to feel a bit of a release and you haven't already crossed the feet over or taken hold of your wrist with the other hand, you might want to increase the stretch by doing that. Or again, you might want to let it off a little bit by undoing those things if the stretch is feeling a bit too strong. Taking your last few breaths in this shape. Then we will go pretty much straight onto the other side, doing Bananasana on the other side, but you might just want to have a very brief pause in the middle to once again perhaps shake the body out a little bit and just notice the difference between the side that you've just stretched and the side that you haven't stretched. And then taking your hips to the other side of the mat. So if you're doing what I was suggesting, we move the hips to the left. Actually, now I've confused myself because I've swapped sides. Anyway, I'm sure that you're all very well aware of which side you did. So hips to the opposite side and feet to the opposite side, crossing them over if you want, and arms over the top of the head. So someone looking down from your ceiling would see the front of your body in a beautiful banana C shape. Remembering to adjust if you need to increase or decrease the stretch. And taking your last few breaths in this shape. And then taking your body back to the middle of your mat, and we'll come into our final resting shape for the practice. So that can be whatever you like. I really like to have a support under the backs of my knees and something nice and soft under my head. You prefer to be on your side or on your front, it really doesn't matter. Or if you prefer to be sitting, that's fine as well. You want to be extremely comfortable. You may want to cover yourself up with a blanket. And today I am going to do a bit of a guided meditation. We often just do silence for this relaxation part of our practice. But I wanted to give us a first chakra focus for our relaxation. So firstly, once again, just trying to send the breath to the bottom of the spine. Breathing all the way in through the belly and to the bottom of the spine. Feeling the breath gliding down like a heavy anchor dropping to the ocean floor. Feel a sense of aliveness coming over you with the breath. You might notice your whole body, especially your legs and feet, feeling very alive, prickling with the joy of being fully human and in the present moment. Sending awareness to the base of your spine. Noticing the energy there. You might feel a sense of tingling, of warmth, And that warmth infuses you with a sense of safety and security. As you exhale, you can release any fear, however big or small the fears you have may be. Imagine that with the breath, you're planting a small seed in your lower back. It grows quickly. It's the seed of your life. You see the seed sprouting and strengthening itself in your lower back. It sprouts long, tenacious tendrils that travel down your legs, wrapping themselves firmly around your thighs, your knees, your calves and feet. They don't make you feel trapped, they make you feel secure, not confined. The tendrils are infinitely strong, but also very flexible. You can go wherever you need to go. These green extensions of your life seed burrow deep into the soil of the earth underneath your feet, traveling into the heart of the earth that pulses at the center of the planet. The earth welcomes your life and secures your life's tendrils within her. At once you feel safe and protected, completely grounded and alive. Your breath continues to ride you into the present moment. You sense the energy tingling in your legs and your feet. You might not have felt this before. You feel the strength of your legs and your feet and their ability to take you forward on your path. And you can gradually bring awareness into the rest of the body, gradually lifting the awareness up from the legs into the torso, into your arms, into your head. Perhaps wriggling your fingers and your toes to acknowledge the life that's there in them. And that meditation was based on one in the Complete Handbook of Quantum Healing by Dr. Deanna Minnick, one of my very important teachers and mentors. So just very slowly now bringing yourself perhaps onto your side first, and then moving in a way that acknowledges these tendrils you've extended into the earth. So slowly, purposefully bringing yourself to a seated shape that's comfortable for you. So we can just close the practice together, closing your eyes, bringing your hands to the front of your heart or onto your heart. And feeling gratitude for yourself for taking this time to start your day and your week in such a grounded way. I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you for participating and practicing with me today. And I hope you have a most wonderful, connected, balanced week. And I will see you next time. Thank you, Shanzai. Thank you. Bye, everyone.